family bound our hearts together. We laugh, we cry through thick and thin. In every challenge we begin again. Truth Seekers 88, our home filled with love and light, sharing dreams in day and night. On the truth train we ride as one, helping each other, everyone. We talk of the truths of our ancient lands. Together we stand, hand in hand. In our disagreements we find the way to grow, to learn each passing day. Truth Seekers 88, our home filled with love and light, sharing dreams in day and night. On the truth train we ride as one, helping each other, everyone. In every thought and every word, voices strong, our truths are heard. With open hearts we stand as friends, a bond that never ends. Expressing thoughts, we find our peace. In unity, our spirits release. Helping others with all we know. In the light of truth we grow. Truth.
Hey guys, just give me 1 second. We're trying to get the .com up and running. It looks like we're having issues on the .com right off the bat. So give me 1 second. How was everybody's day?
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Definitely. It's a great day.
Wasn't as hot here. Well, that's fantastic. And we got more rain again.
That brings in
Yeah, we were actually pretty cool here today. I think we only hit like 107. So it was kind of cool for us.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, usually here by now it's 110, 112. So we'll take anything under that.
Wow.
Hey Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We gotta fix the .com. I guess the keys are. You see it up at the top right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Oops, lost Mike.
Give us 1 second so we can get the .com up and running. Let's see, Mike just got booted. All right.
No.
1 second.
You must be talking to a fur baby, Linda.
I got my little baby here. My dog. I was looking at your little puppy or dog.
Yep, she's right here.
This one isn't being very quiet. I don't know if I can get her kicked out or not.
Mine was beating on the door a few minutes ago.
You need some chill doggies, Linda.
Absolutely.
I'm
Still those-
about to
still
get
those
up and go
doggies.
get something.
What kind of dog and how old?
She's a Vizsla. She's about a year and a half old.
Oh, Vizslas are fantastic animals.
She's got the prettiest short hair.
Oh, they're fantastic. Fantastic animals.
I really like her.
Tell her to pop her head in so I can see her.
See, I don't know if she can.
Let me see that baby. What's her name?
This is Rosie
Hi, Rosie.
here, but I don't think you can see her.
No.
No.
Aw.
Vizslas are absolutely phenomenal dogs. They are amazing, and their whole body is the same color, and their tongues are the same. They're just amazing animals.
Most people don't know a lot about them, so you are a dog lover, I can tell.
No, well, we have a pet health company. We better be.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
everything's about the fur babies, right?
I can hear somebody squeaking.
That's her ball, so I better get rid of that.
I shouldn't have eaten before the show.
Oh, did you have dinner before the show?
Yeah.
What'd you have?
I had arugula salad with 3 sunny side up eggs on top and some cheese on top of that. Something quick.
That sounds fantastic.
Oh, and of course, I had mushrooms and onions on top.
Well, I've been on carnivore for a year and a half, and if there is one thing that I really miss it for vegetables, I really miss like sliced mushrooms and onions. I really miss that. But other than that, I don't really miss anything that I'm not eating. I'm kind of surprised because I was a vegetable junkie.
Wow, you can't have mushrooms or
You can't have anything that doesn't fly, walk, or swim.
oh my goodness, really?
But it's been an amazing journey. There's like 15 of us that are on it, and some of the stories have just been unbelievable.
I keep thinking I need to try that, but it sounds like it's more work. You got to cook more things.
It absolutely is not, and it's actually very inexpensive too, which is kind of surprising. You would think it wouldn't be.
Hmm.
There's Mike. He's back.
Now let me see if I got a duck.
All right, Miss Linda, you ready?
I think so. So it doesn't look like I can move my own screen. You need to let me put it up there, I guess, because I can't move any of my folders.
All right.
Okay. Okay, now can you see it?
Oh yeah, I seen you switching it.
Okay, all right. So I'm Linda Bamber Olson, and I guess I just get to start telling you about a product that I developed. It's called the Wave Watch. And of course, like anybody, I have a story. I developed it for several reasons, but one of the main reasons is that I was born deaf, completely deaf in one ear as a child, and they didn't discover it until third grade. And so I've been always extremely interested in sound and frequencies for, since I was born, basically, because I was missing part of that journey. And so I developed a product that uses frequencies. It is the world's first frequency watch, as far as I know. I get to say that. But I like to tease just a little bit. You'll see that the watch is down in the corner, and this is my second version of it. It's an update. But there actually are pictures from the Sumerians, I believe. And if you look at these pictures real closely, you'll see that every single one of them has a watch on, almost just like what I have. So in fun, and on the internet, lots of people have speculations about what these tools might have been used for ancient people. And one of the guesses was even telepathy. I have no idea, but I just wanted you to know that other cultures have developed some amazing tools. And I don't know why we, or they, wouldn't have developed something with sound, because they've used it for thousands of years. So it's a fascinating journey to me to just give you a little bit of information about how sound has been used historically, and how I'm just changing technology, upping technology, and using it in a little bit different manner for self-care. So the ancient Egyptians, they obviously used sound. And there's lots of new information about different temples, or even the pyramids that they have found no, burial sites in, basically, but we call them tombs. And they're seeing more and more that there is sound connected to these pyramids and temples and things. So the Egyptians were known to use sound in many different ways, and they thought that simple sounds could actually change the whole trajectory of your body. So very, very fascinating what they could have developed. And this went on for thousands of years, forward to, more recent history, I guess you might say. They have actually realized that some of these older churches that have windows like this actually make a particular sound. And there's a whole new study of sound out, and it's called cymatics. And it is the visualization of sound. And so when they put sand on a plate and then add a frequency to it, it actually reshapes into something that looks like all of these ancient church windows. So their interest was piqued, obviously, and they went into the churches, and with some very specialized tools, they were able to measure the sound that the church made. And truly amazing, the sound was the same as the visualization that we now have today. So what tools did ancient people have that they use so much more of for our self-care, or for their self-care, or what were they using frequencies for and sound for thousands of years? So we have a little bit of a glimpse. I don't know if that fascinates anybody as much as it does me, but I really think that we have missed the boat, and that we're not using natural ideas. We have gone beyond. And I was looking for one more picture that I thought I had, but maybe I don't have it. So anyway, we have gone beyond what we need to do from God's view, in my opinion, because we make everything so difficult. And God didn't intend for us I'm being silly here, but he didn't intend for us to go to the moon and back and bring a new mineral back and say, hey, we need to have this. But that's kind of what we're doing. We're getting so ridiculous. We are digging more and more and more into the smallest, tiniest molecules and saying that God intended us to have these when we have to have millions of dollars of equipment to extract that particular protein or whatever it might be. I'm just, giving you some examples. He gave us sound. It's right. It's in our voice. It's in our body. He gave us sound. And so why aren't we doing more with sound? I just think that we need to open our eyes just a little bit more. And so that's what I end up doing a lot, is educating and sharing with people ideas about how sound can be used very simplistically. So if you even jump a little bit more into a little bit more the present time, about 100 years ago, Nikola Tesla actually said that there was something called the MOR, or mortal oscillation rate. When he was studying DNA, he could tell that if a frequency was actually a frequency in your body met another frequency, the same frequencies, which are called resonant frequencies, that they would actually meet and self-amplify and destroy each other. Now, what do we call that today? That's just the example that all of us know, with the opera singer who sings a high note and can break a glass. Why haven't we adapted that idea to use in breaking up different kinds of pathogens, whether it's parasites or viruses or bacteria or anything like that? Tesla knew about it, but this has been hidden from us for over 100 years. Now, another person is Dr. Royal Raymond Rife. And I have that right here on the slide. If you haven't heard about him, it's really important that you look him up if you're interested in frequencies, because what he did was develop a microscope that was destroyed later by the American Medical Association, because they said that frequencies should not be used and they were illegal to use. And so all of his tools and his discoveries were actually destroyed by the AMA. But he basically is considered the father of frequencies. So it's a fascinating journey into the science and the ideas behind sound frequencies and using them. And then if we jump ahead to today, I guess you might say, they have actually been able to take the images like I showed you before on the church pictures, and they have been able to take those pictures of heart cells. So each of these pictures on this is one of my favorite ever images. Each one of these squares is a different heart cell, and they have applied a different acoustical sound to that cell. And they figured out that they could manipulate these heart cells and actually change them, so that obviously you see all of these different ideas. So isn't that telling us that by introducing different sounds, acoustical sounds, now don't forget, we're not talking about low sounds, ultra low sounds, or ultrasounds. We're talking about acoustical sounds in the range of 20 to 20,000. So if we're using those, to me, this picture shows us that they can make a difference in our body. They can change something. They can rebalance. They can self-amplify. The changes can be varied and very useful. So I just wanted to use those sounds like I put together all this information. And so that's how I came to actually develop something that I call the Wave Watch. And so I've got a lot of longer stories, but I think some of you might have heard that by now, that I've worked about 10 or 12 years to take an idea and get it to fruition, because the technology wasn't there. I actually had the idea and did some basic beginning patent ideas before the Apple Watch even came out. And so what I really want to share with you is that so many of our watches today are monitoring. They're not doing anything for your body. They're just monitoring. And the Wave Watch has thousands of ideas on it to take care of you, to change your body, to rebalance it, to harmonize it, to make it resonate. Lots of different ideas and ways to say it. But this is so important to me to let people know that you can use frequencies to actually make a difference in your life. So the watch now comes in a rose gold color or graphite, and then you can also get an extra black band. And right now at this time, we're actually having a 4th of July sale, and we have bands that are red, white, and blue that come with the watch if you're interested in doing any getting any more information about it. But those are the two looks. You can change the face of it and use it very easily. And of course, I always have to tell you that this is a general wellness type product. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition. And it is not a medical device, and frequencies are considered experimental. So very important for us to point that out to you. So this is a general wellness product. So we've updated the case from our original watch. It's 40% lighter, 40% smaller, has a different case and a lot different look to it. But it has the same frequencies on it. So it comes again with a Velcro band and a charging cord and screen protector. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the product that I feel is my passion that I put together. And I started this when I retired. So that was another version also. And then I actually developed it during COVID. So I've had quite a fun history getting this product to market. This is the little booklet that comes with it. And basically there are 146 different ideas that you can use, which are, we consider frequency sets. The FDA did ask us to not be as specific. And so most of these ideas are together. And the easiest way to describe this, if I can be silly again, but there's one over here called self-care. And so the first one under it is labeled after party support. And I hope some of you are laughing. It's like, oh, when everybody's, when I talk to people and they see this, they'll laugh and they'll say, oh, I see. Yeah. So what this one has included in it all together, there's about an hour and 4 minutes of frequencies. And there are frequencies for the liver, for the kidney to detox. There are frequencies for headache. There are frequencies for dehydration, frequencies for, vomiting, diarrhea if you want. So the list goes on. But so what I've done, instead of listing those individually and you have to put them together, I've actually tied all of them together in one frequency set for you. Another one to describe would be breast health. I have worked with women's breast health for almost a couple of decades now, giving them natural solutions for breast problems. And so when I was developing this, in my office, I was working with women who came in for those problems. And I did have 9 women who had breast lumps go away in about 30 minutes. And so what I learned with working with them was that I had to work with inflammation, pain, and trauma. I had to work with liver detox again. I had to work with hormones. I had to work with lymph detox, and then specific ideas about breast care and breast cysts and breast lumps. So if I just played one of those, I didn't have any results. But if I played all of them together, one after the other, usually I got the results I was talking about. So one of the ladies who did have a breast lump was a nurse, and I have her testimony on my website, obviously. And I'm so proud to say that she said her breast lump was almond size. She'd had it for about 6 months, and she could feel changes when she was wearing the prototype Wave Watch. And then in about 30 minutes, it was down to tapioca size. So that's kind of the idea of what I've done. So we have all kinds of frequencies for you. So the list is almost overwhelming, but that's my idea. I wanted to give you a lot of bang for your buck. And I see so much today that we are not really given the bang for your buck, because there are starting to be more and more frequency tools available, and everyone's a little bit different. But there's one where you can buy a different kind of a wristband, and you buy one wristband for calming, and you buy another wristband for sleep. Another one is you can buy a frequency tool for insects. So it's just one frequency. Well, I have that plus 990, 999, I can't even talk. I have that plus a lot of other frequencies, because basically there's 1,100 different acoustical frequencies in those 145 folders. So the one I was trying to tell you about for the bites and stings, you just go to that folder and it actually makes a sound that could actually protect you from stings and different bites when you're outside setting. And so a lot of people have really liked that. Other women have bought tools that are simply for menstruation, for their period and for their cycle. And that's all it is. And it costs them $300. And that's the frequencies they have, where the Wave Watch has that plus over 1,000 other frequencies. So again, I wanted to give you bang for your buck, and I don't charge anything for monthly fees. It's a one and done, and it continues.
Hello from Denmark. I just love this Wave Watch. When I got it, I have some tooth I have to pull out, and I have so much pain. And about 2 hours, it was gone. The pain was gone. This week, my fiance also has some tooth to pull out, so she borrowed it, and it was gone, all the pain. And I'm just loving it because it was from heaven. My daughter has a lot of issues psychologically, but she tried the brain frequencies, and it was all gone. She could just stand up and walk. She has been in bed for 2 years, and she has a lot of people to help her to get her to a bathroom and all the things. And after 2 sessions with a watch, she could stand up, and we walked around 1 kilometer. She said, "Dad, I need a watch."
So I hope you could hear that. Was everybody able to hear it? This is the reason why I put so many things on the watch. Everyone can use the watch. You could have a baby sitting on your lap and be playing something for anxiety, and that baby, maybe if it was, really upset or crying, could actually calm down when you have the watch on. So frequencies can pass from one person to another very easily, or from your animal. I actually wear the watch for anxiety sometime, and the dog is sitting right beside me, and I'm petting the dog, and it does seem to calm down. So I've had lots of testimonies about that. So again, that's one reason I wanted to put everything on the watch, so that you could use it for, husband and wife and grandparents and children and animals. I mean, I've even gotten a testimony on a duck and horses, cats and dogs, of course, but it is a tool that can be used and shared with people. You don't all have to have your own tool. Although, just like this one mentioned, she was so excited because this young girl who was about 12 years old had been bedridden for almost a couple of years. She wasn't really moving around, and they played something for brain. And in 2 hours, She was up moving around and she walked a mile when she had really not done anything like that for a couple of years. So then she asked for her own watch. Yeah. So lots of different ideas that the Wave Watch can be used for. So today I only wanted to kind of emphasize one idea for you. There's a whole folder for emotions, and about 10% of the frequencies are for emotions, and they're all kind of put together in a larger folder for you so that we cover so many different areas. So calming, fear, harmonize, mental clarity, mood balance, relaxation, and self-control. So those are the areas that you can select, and then I'll give you a little bit more information in just a minute. So calming has the vagus nerve in it, has emotional balance, emotional ties to diseases, anxiety, and you can see the list there. So fear has combat disorders, PTSD, OCD, vagus nerve, detox mental disorders. Harmonize is the chakras. So if you're into chakras, all you do is just touch a button and it will play all of those chakras for you. Very, very important. Mental clarity has brain concentration, energy, gamma wave, ADD, ADHD, vagus nerve. So you see what I'm talking about. All of those ideas are put together for you so that you can just touch one button and it will play, and you can put it on repeat or just play it one time, whatever you would like to do. So it goes on. We have mood balance. So we have detoxing for mental disorders. We have seasonal affective disorder, depression, gloom, sleep disorders, overwhelmed. So all of those specific ideas really do have to do with mood balance. And sometimes people don't know whether they're depressed or whether they have a sleep disorder. So that's why they're all together so that all of them are covered for you. Then I also have relaxation support, which covers panic and fear, separation anxiety, sadness, nerves, or sadness, shock, vagus nerve. And you see how important that vagus nerve is in all of our emotions. We are realizing now more than ever that the vagus nerve is a big area in our body that we haven't been paying attention to for years. So it's kind of a big phrasing now. So most of the emotional frequencies have vagus nerve connected with them. So self-control, if you're worried about, addictions, emotional eating, emotional balance, self-image, those are ideas that are all connected with self-control. So you can share that with people. And it's so important that you let other people know that there's a variety of things there. So this is what the Wave Watch could look like once it changes from the date and time. You'll see a screen here, and you just scroll up or down on the screen to make a selection for your category. And like this one, we touched first wave, and then we saw these ideas. And so you could touch the first one in here and it would start playing through. So I think it's fairly easy to use. We've tried to make sure that it is easy for to use. The batteries run about 12 to 18 hours, and so you just have to charge, once a day, basically. Now, if you don't know where a particular frequency is, or you don't know if it has this frequency, we do have something called a frequency finder. And you just go to our website, which is Wave Watch, WAV, and that stands for waves and vibrations. And you touch and you'll see frequency finder, and then you type in the frequency that you might be looking for. Remember, we have over 1,100 different specific kinds of frequencies on the Wave Watch, but we were told that we couldn't be very, very specific, and so they are in these categories at this point. That is a generic type category. But behind the scenes, just for you to know, there are about 24,000 frequencies that are on the Wave Watch in those, because those folders have several ideas included in each frequency set. There could be up to 20, 30 different frequencies. I think that's really, really interesting to know that. So like if you're trying to use Tibetan bowls, those are really getting to be the rage, or gongs, or different tuning forks. Those are just one frequency, basically, when the Wave Watch has about, again, just my rough estimate of about 24,000 frequencies, because there are so many frequencies that make up each of the 1,100 ideas. I hope I explained that right. That's how we did it. So here's another testimony. This one's for pain relief. I am loving my new Wave Watch 2.0, which is the round one, as it is so easy to navigate with the clear and concise instructions and support. I started at the beginning as advised, but now I turned on to the pain module as I was having some lower back pain, which dissipated quite quickly. I am so looking forward to using the rest of the modules that apply to me. So this was from Rosie S. And I don't know why I picked this, but this is my Rosie. This is my dog. So Rosie, and you can actually take an extra wristband and put two, one on each side of the watch, and actually make a dog collar. So that's what Rosie is modeling for you. And it's very easy to set that when she's wearing it. Or sometimes I just actually don't put the watch on her, and I'll just put it on a bedside table beside her kennel. And it's actually playing a small sound for parasites. Usually, you know, I use that at night a lot of times, or sometimes for different kinds of bacteria that I think she might have picked up. So just to add a few more ideas, there's no EMFs. This is so, so important. EMFs are very detrimental to our body, and I could do a whole hour talk about EMFs, but just to let you know that the Wave Watch does not have any EMFs. But remember, so many of the watches that people are wearing around do have EMFs, and they are very negative for your system. And they're not actually doing anything but monitoring. They are not trying to take care of your health or help you rebalance or harmonize. So that was a big idea for the Wave Watch, is to change your body, not to monitor your body. And it uses these targeted frequencies. So I think it's easy to use. It's drug-free. Now, I do have on here that there's no side effects, but I will kind of laugh and say that somebody played it on constipation for quite a while and then developed some diarrhea, the opposite effect, you know. So as far as I know, there have not been any side effects. These are sounds. You hear acoustical sounds all day and all night long. And normally we are not going to have an effect from that unless, you know, we're being silly and unbelievably somebody is messing with sounds really, really loudly. I think it's very cost effective because everybody in the family can use it. I know one lady that has 4 or 5 kids, and she says, I've got 2 already, and I've got to get more, because she said it saved me a lot of money. So lots of different ideas. People have used it to, one person said that they used it for their gums and saved themselves like a $2,000 dental, dental problem that they were going to have worked on. Lots of other testimonies about that. Kidney stones is a huge one. I've had about 30 different people tell me that kidney stones have gone away in about 30 minutes. And they were in my office when I was doing the prototype design. And we did a urine sample right at that particular point in time. And everybody's urine was full of flack of some kind. One lady even had 5 rice-sized granules, but most of them were black and white or salt and pepper type effects. But very cost effective if you compare that to what we are doing with lithotripsy and the cost of that and the pain connected with lithotripsy. So again, this is just using targeted frequencies, and you just have to wear the Wave Watch to work on kidneys. It doesn't have to be on your kidneys. It's just going through your body very, very quickly. And again, I've already mentioned it can be useful for everyone. I think I'm winding down now. I hope that wasn't too much, but I am very enthusiastic about this product because we have had so many testimonies on it. Out of the 1,100 ideas that we do have on the Wave Watch, I have probably had about 500 different types of testimonies and multiples of several of those kinds, obviously. And so at this point in time, we are having a 4th of July sale, which I've already mentioned, and you can use the TTS88 discount code to get $150 off of each watch. On 2 watches, you'll get you $300, and actually 3 watches is $500 off. We give you free shipping, and you get patriotic wristbands at this point in time. So it is one of our bigger sales of the year. The next sale we'll have this big will be in December, obviously. We do have HSA and FSA, and then you can make monthly payments. There's different ways to pay for the watch online when you start looking at it and looking at different options. So now's the time if you're interested in using something natural, getting something that you can share with your family or friends. And one of my neatest stories, I have a lady who actually shared the Wave Watch with her neighbor, and her neighbor had had a stroke, and she had had about a year or so of sitting there, and her money had run out and everything that the medical community, they had done everything they could, and there were no changes for around a year. And then the neighbor loaned her the Wave Watch, and in 2.5 days, the lady was a changed person. She now could raise her hand above her head. She could uncurl her hand, which she had not been able to do, and she could actually walk better. Now, she was walking, but now she could walk more fluid, and she could go up the stairs easier. Then the biggest thing was her nighttime bedroom habits changed, and she did not have to have the support from her children to get her out of the bed for bathroom use. So very, very effective for her. And then some updated ideas that she has communicated with me is that when she used it again, that she had better speech and better thought patterns. So share your watch. You know, you don't necessarily have to just use it for you. But I just want to thank you for listening to this, and see if we have any other ideas that anybody or questions that anybody might have.
I have a question for you, Miss Linda, at the bottom of the screen.
No, the TTS code, you want to use that code, and that will give you the sale price off of $150. Use that code. It's not in addition to.
Let me scan the chat.
So it's wavewatch.com, and then you use TTS88, and you'll get your $150 off this time.
If you had a question in the chat, if you could type it in again, just in case I missed it. But if not, then we'll move on. Let me see. All right.
We missed a question. Sorry, I can't see the chat when I'm talking, when I'm giving the presentation. Well, like I did mention, there is about 30 frequencies that are playing at the same time when you play these. but they are for a specific idea. So that's how I, calculated. They have between 15 to 30 frequencies for each different one. So that's why there are so many frequencies on there. But no, it would every 8 minutes, it's going to change frequency sets and ideas within that particular folder or frequency set. Like I mentioned with the after party care, every 8 minutes, if you were actually listening to it, it sounds like a little bee buzz, in my opinion. So we have 1,100 different bee buzzes, and so if you would listen about every 8 minutes, you would hear that sound change, telling you that it's actually playing more frequencies. But you don't have to do anything. It just goes from one frequency set to the next.
All right. That should be it. Wait, let's see.
So the watch is priced at $697, and it's $150 off now with this. Like I said, it's the biggest sale of the year until December.
That's it.
Okay, well, I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, but
No, ma'am. Thank you for coming on and presenting that.
well, thank you for inviting me. Really appreciated your time.
Well, here's one more question. Are the Wave Watches waterproof?
Yes, they are. I suppose I shouldn't say waterproof. They're water resistant, but we are doing some testing now, and we hope to get that certification, but that certification is not in yet. I don't know exactly how they do it, but you have to put it, in 5 feet of water for a certain amount of time and all of that kind of an idea. And so it hasn't been certified yet, but it is much more waterproof than my first watch. But I would still be careful with it. You have an expensive tool or an inexpensive tool that you want to take care of. So don't shower with it, if you can do that. Somebody the other day did a cold plunge with it, and it was still okay, but that is not advised. So there are all kinds of payments once you start clicking them. They are basically available through PayPal or I think Shopify has some. So you can look at those options online. And some of them are $50 to $60 a month. And then you can do your HSA or FSA, excuse me. And those actually can save you about another 33% of the cost, if I am understanding that correctly.
I think there's one more. Is that it? Hello?
Hello, we hear you.
Okay. I think she froze up.
It kind of looks like it.
Miss Linder?
Whoop,
Uh,
Lester.
The same thing happened to me yesterday on StreamYard. I kept getting thrown off and then popping back on and getting thrown off. It was kind of crazy.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is. She's back.
Sorry, I just got kicked off. I don't know what happened, but I was done anyway. So
Yeah.
perfect. So I'll listen to you.
Yeah, when the same thing happened to me the other day on StreamYard, I kept getting, all of a sudden it would say, you need to click this button to come back into the show. And it was just like, but I didn't click anything to go out. Right?
Well, that was interesting, Linda.
Well, thank you. And I'm excited to hear about your product now also.
Yeah, and Linda, thank you. That was very interesting. I know a lot of the people that have the Wave watches, and I really didn't know a whole lot about them. So thank you for that. Very informative talk. Sheepdog, are you ready for us to go now?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Excellent. Okay, Kim, take it away.
All righty. Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the platform. Thank you so much, Mike and Sheepdogs, for having us on. And I am Kim, and I'll introduce Diana in a minute. I first want to express my prayers and concerns for Mike. And we are all praying and sending high vibrations to him. And I wish he was on now. I went to a good doctor once, and she suggested that I put Post-it notes in my own handwriting everywhere that said better and better every day. So I hope, Mike, that you can do that. It sounds silly, but I think it can help. Anyway, today we want to talk about the 4th of July and how horrible it is for our furry family members. And we're going to talk in three different kind of ideas today. But first, Diana has a very important message to share with everybody. And Diana is known as one of the mushroom ladies that we all love and adore. Kristen couldn't be here tonight, but she is the other half of them. Diana is certified in pet nutrition, holistic pet care, pet and human CBD. And go ahead, Diana, tell us the quick story.
Well, first of all, Mike, if you're listening, you're in our prayers. We're praying hard for healing and fast recovery, and we're doing this on a daily basis. And, this platform is so important to so many people. But to all of those that are out there, I know they're all wondering how they can help. How can we help? How can we help? Because we all feel a little helpless when somebody that we care about so much is hurting or in need. And, I'm just going to say, support these products, support the wonderful Wave Watch, support the TruthSeekers88pets.com. It's very important that we do as much as we can to get a revenue stream going to help Mike. So let's not give our money to the big box stores when we can. Let's give it to these platforms. But I want to share a story quickly, and then we'll talk about the 4th of July. You all know Kristen. She's my other half, the mushroom lady. Kristen had a very scary event last week, and I've been given permission to share it because it's very important that all of us know what's going on out there. Last night, Sheepdog was talking a lot about human trafficking and what's going on. And, it was just kind of so interesting that I knew we were going to be on tonight, and I was listening to him intently. Kristen was almost trafficked. Kristen was in a box store in the Florida area, in a tourist area. She had ran in to purchase a quick little table because they were staying at a hotel and they needed a little table to have a little makeshift desk. And she didn't feel right when she walked in. She said something just wasn't feeling really good about the environment. Kind of intuitive, but nevertheless, she went to get her table. She picked up her table. She put it in the cart. And then a young woman walked up to her and said, "May I pray with you?" And, Kristen's like, "Sure." And so the woman pulled out a piece of paper and said to Kristen, "My English isn't very good. I'm a Brazilian missionary. So can you read this with me?" And so Kristen read the scripture, but notice that the woman was kind of babbling, not really reading the words, just babbling. And then when they got to the end, the woman said, "Amen." And then she whipped her backpack around and very carefully with her thumb and finger pulled out some books. and handed them to Kristen. They were wrapped in kind of a cellophane that looked very worn and old and frosty. And you know, your instinct is to take them. That's your instinct. And she took them. And the woman said, "These are for you. They're only $20." And Kristen said, "Oh, you want me to buy these?" And the woman said, "Yes, you don't have to." And Kristen goes, "Well, I'm traveling. I really don't have room for books. Thank you." And handed the books back. The woman very carefully took them with her thumb and her forefinger and put them back in her backpack and literally said, "Okay, turn around and left." No, you know, that was it. So Kristen kind of thought the whole thing was a little bizarre, but she started to walk away, and she was walking down the aisle. And the next thing she knows, she was getting disoriented more and more so, to the point where there was that moment of, oh my gosh, I need to get to the restroom, or I need to go out to my car. This is not good. And it kept getting worse and getting worse. And then she went around to another aisle and saw the woman standing in the aisle, texting frantically, looking at Kristen, looking at Kristen. And Kristen heard a voice. She heard instructions that basically told her to get to where there are people, to say, "I am alone, I am alone." And I mean, she literally got instructions telling her what needed to do. And she saw a pharmacy with a lot of people, and she was getting more and more disoriented, more and more, to the point where she didn't even feel she could make it over to the pharmacy. There was a bench. She got to the bench. She sat down. And after a few minutes, she said, it's getting worse. And she mustered everything she could and kind of pushed through the line of people. You know how it is at, you know, the pharmacy at these big stores. And she yelled to the pharmacist, "I think I've been drugged. I think something's happened to me. I'm alone. I'm alone." And they came out, and then the rest was them taking police reports and getting blood, and doing a urine test and all the things that needed to be done. The message is very clear that there are people out there trafficking people left and right. Their supply chain has been cut back because of all the things at the border. I can tell you that we are so blessed that Kristen wasn't taken, but a couple of things happened. The message that she got to say, "Go to where there are people," is so important, because especially women, when something goes, like we don't feel good or something, you know, our tendency is to say, "Oh, I got this. I'll just go to my car and take care of it, or I'll just go into the bathroom." If she had done that in the state she was in, she probably would have been snagged. The other thing that the message that she got was, "Say I'm alone," because in the state that she was in, a man could have come up and said, "Oh, honey, I know you don't feel good. Let me get you home." And nobody would have thought anything of it. The fact that she took something is something we all have to teach our daughters, our children, our friends, men, women, young, old. It doesn't matter. Do not take anything from anyone. Do not stop and have those kind of conversations with somebody. And it's really sad that we have to think this way. But in this case, had Kristen not gone to where there were people, said, "I'm alone," and got some help, I don't even want to think about what would have been next. The saddest part too is that this woman, it's usually a woman who approaches that people, or a woman with children. I'll bet she was being trafficked. I bet she was being told, you know, you have to go and get this person, or these things are going to happen to you or your family. Who knows? But it's just a public service message for everyone that we need to be so diligent in our surroundings and understand that the world is a different place right now. And we're all just very happy that Kristen's okay. She's a little raw, and it's just been a really bad week for her. She feels very blessed. She's very happy. At first she was angry. Why did this happen to me? Now she's feeling like, I'm glad it happened to me because I was given direction that somebody else might not have been given. She really feels that God was with her, and that the messages that came through clear to her as to what to do were there. So enough on that. I just want everybody to be diligent and vigilant and share that story with as many people as you can. So let's talk about the 4th of July. Oh my gosh.
Well, Diana,
Yes.
something I just thought of, and I think I heard her mention that too, is that she thinks that she could have been more effective in a bad way with that had she not had her immune system so
100%. And thank you. That's a great segue because yes, she feels so bulletproof, you know. And the thing is, Kristen hasn't taken an aspirin, an ibuprofen, nothing in 6 years. So that amount of, you know, transdermal contact and passing of whatever it was could have been a lot worse because her body is pretty susceptible. But because her immune system is so strong, she really felt like that was something that also helped her to, you know, get through this as good as she did. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay. Wow. When it's closer to home, folks pay more attention. Yeah, exactly. It truly is. I mean, I keep thinking back. I could have lost the other mushroom lady. I don't know how we could have lived with that. But anyhow, let's move on. 4th of July, our little fur babies. Oh my gosh, it's such a horrible, horrible day for them. It's a day that the #1 day in the country for runaway animals, the #1 day. The shelters will be filled with animals that have run from home. And because it's a Friday night, it'll be Friday night, Saturday night. It's gonna be horrible.
yes, absolutely. And so why do some dogs hate the fireworks?
Well, 50% of dogs have some kind of a noise related phobia. Their sense of hearing is 4 times what our sense of hearing is. Their sense of frequency, which is kind of interesting when I listen to, they're very aware of frequencies. And you know, I was listening to Linda about the dog with the watches. It's absolutely true. And their sense of high frequency hearing is twice that of the humans. They can hear things we can't hear. The noises can actually trigger a response in a dog called flight or fight. And they will take off and just go. And you think, oh no, my dog's not going to leave me. He loves me. He's going to stay in my house. Not the case. Not the case at all. These dogs feel threatened, and maybe they've had a previous experience with noise. Who knows? But they're just going to run because that's their instinctual thing to do. No command, no amount of training, no nothing is going to stop them. Some dogs are a little more sensitive to noise than others. Pembroke Welsh Corgis, for example, Cairn Terriers, very sensitive to noise. Now, sometimes the Shepherds and the Labs, not so much, but some are. But it's so terrifying for them. They just want to run. That's all they want to do. We had a pup in the Las Vegas Valley that was a pit bull. Was so scared that he literally rammed his face against the door so hard to get out, he broke his snout. He had to have surgery. He now has sinus issues. Imagine being so afraid that you ram your face against a door. It's crazy.
Over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So what can the chill doggies help that much with that?
Well, yeah, we can do that. But there's so many things you can do, Kim. And, you know, the 4th is coming right around the corner. So time is kind of the essence. And we're going to talk about how to get chill doggies in time. But one, plan ahead. Plan ahead. Don't leave your pup at home alone. This is when destructive behavior happens. This is when unsafe things happen. This is when a dog will go through a window, and we've seen that hundreds of times. And I mean, I've gotten reports of a dog who ate a whole leather couch. I mean, just destroyed the whole leather couch because he was just trying to burrow and get away, and he was so scared. So what can you do? Don't leave him at home. People will go, oh, I don't know how my dog is. He's home. I'm out watching fireworks. Well, shame on you. You should be home with your pup because they are scared, unless they're on chill doggies, and we'll talk about that. Go to an area where there are no fireworks. I mean, you know, do that. Put on calming music. Exercise the heck out of them that morning. Feed them early so that their digestive system has settled. And when they start getting all ramped up and they start getting all anxious, they're not going to be dealing with now throwing up also. Make sure that you swaddle them if you can. If you have a Thunder shirt, that's an amazing product. Wrap the Thunder shirt around them. If you don't have one of those, take a sheet, swaddle it like a baby. If you have a life jacket, you know, the dogs that have the life jackets, put that life jacket on him. That tight life jacket will make him feel safe and secure. Check the doors, check the windows, make sure there's no escape points. Put them in a crate and cover it if you can. Make sure you have visible identification on them. If they get out, it's much better to have someone in the neighborhood be able to bring him home than to wait until he gets somewhere where there's a microchip reader to identify him. And don't take them outside under any circumstance without a leash, because if they decide they're going to go, they're going. And if you've got a leash, you can at least reel them back in. We had a story where a woman had a dachshund. You know, dachshunds are only that big. They're only that high. The whole family watched the dachshund scale a 6-foot wall, just gone. And they were shocked. They were yelling, and the dog was just gone. And ended up 2 days later, they found him in the pound. Thank God somebody found him, took care of him, and took him to the pound instead of a coyote or a predator getting this poor little one. But, you know, what else can we do? We can do things like get a prescription from the veterinarian. But even though they're effective, it's hard on the liver, hard on the kidneys. There are some great oils out there you can use. Just be very careful that you're using something that doesn't have peppermint in it, because that's toxic to dogs. There are things like the Wave Watch that you can also use. Anything that you can do to calm them. We have chill doggies, and they do exactly what we're talking about. They chill the doggy. Now, it is the 1st of the month. We only have a couple days. If you order tonight, and if you expedite shipping, you can get 2-day shipping or next day shipping. And yes, it's expensive for the shipping. It's like $29 for a 2-day, $55 for next day. But let me tell you something. If my dog's laying on the floor and my dog's crying and wincing and doing what he does because he gets so excited, I'm going to be happy I spent that money. Also, there's enough in this bag that you could walk around the whole neighborhood and be a hero. You can hand out some to every single dog owner in the neighborhood. And let me tell you, they're going to call you and they're going to thank you. I have a quick story on it. And then we're going to get into some testimonials and talk a little bit more about mushrooms. I go and work a local fireworks booth every year for a local charity. And I have a little table that I set up with chill doggies. And I kind of shame people into buying them when they're spending money on fireworks. This one guy spent $2,000 on fireworks. And so I went over and I said, okay, you need to buy some chill doggies and go around your neighborhood. And he was like, yeah. He was just kind of being weird. It was nice. But so I said, you know what? Cheapskate, I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to give them to you because you're going to be setting off $2,000 worth of fireworks. And I said, go around the neighborhood and just give every dog owner, some chill doggies. Have them take a picture of the label so they know what it is. I got a call from him on July 5th. This is 2 years ago. And he said, my number is always on the back of the package. He said, Diana, I owe you an apology. He said, I normally have the whole neighborhood calling the police on me because they hate my fireworks. He said, I did what you said. I went around the whole neighborhood. I invited them to see the fireworks and I gave them chill doggies. And he said, I had the whole neighborhood watching my fireworks instead of being home with their dog because their dogs were out cold. He said, it was the best 4th of July ever. I have to have these every year. And he has been coming back every year and getting them. So again, chill doggies, a great product. It's just that time of year, guys. And I can't say enough about protecting your animal during this time because you don't want to lose them. You don't want them to run and get hit by a car or end up in a kennel or worse, right?
Right. And that did happen to my dog. She would take off. I wouldn't be at home, and I have a in-ground fence, and I didn't think about it, and she would be gone.
Yeah, that's what they do. Well, and even for the next 2 or 3 days after the 4th, they're on heightened alert. Their senses are on heightened alert. And so when you take them outside, still have them tethered, you know, even if it's just a long rope, because if a car backfires, if a gunshot, somebody slams the door, it's going to send them into that flight or fight thing. And you don't want that to happen. Also, you know, if they're in the house, close the blinds so that if you're in a place where the fireworks, they can see the flashing lights, that can also trigger them too. So, and the chill doggies, you know, they're very simple. All they are is lion's mane mushroom, which mushrooms are so good for our dogs. And that's going to take the cognitive issues and just take them down a notch. We've also got 4 other amazing calming herbs in here, lemon balm and rosemary and catnip. Believe it or not, catnip is great for our dogs, not so much for the cats. It's going to amp them up. But, you know, I also want to say on the 4th of July, as any holiday, there's tons of family, visitors, barbecues, amazing smells. The last thing you want to do is give any of that stuff to your dog, especially during 4th of July weekend when they're already a little amped up. You're just going to create stomach problems. Make sure you're securing the trash. Make sure your guests know, don't feed them anything from the table. And again, if you have the Chill Doggies product, you can ramp them down a little bit before all of the excitement. Yeah, it's a really scary time. And everything that we're doing right now is about the health of our pets and the health of our humans. I'm going to read a couple testimonials and then we'll let everybody call it a night here. I do have a question. Susan Pierce, I understand what you have there about your shipments and wanting to sign up under someone else. All the shipments come out of California and they are shipped the day that you order, as long as you order before 2:00 West Coast time. So if you could just send me an email at thetruthseekers88pets@gmail.com, I'll be happy to help you with what you're going through there. Usually, like I'm in Nevada, I get my order in 2 days. But Kim, you're on the East Coast. How long does it take for you to get an order?
About 5 days, but it seems like lately it's been a little bit longer.
Yeah, my sister's in Ohio. If she orders on a Monday, she usually has it by Friday, sometimes the following Monday. So somebody's just asking how many will it knock them out and how many do you give them? Okay, so it depends on the size of the dog. Most dogs, you know, 1 or 2, a little teeny tiny dog, a half one. The good news is you can't overdose them. The worst that's going to happen, they're just going to go to sleep. And, you know, they're going to be chill. That's why they're called chill doggies. Mickey Mimu, you had told us that you wanted Mickey's winnings to be sent to someone else. And we definitely still have a bag of freeze-dried food that we would love to donate to somebody. And Mickey, if you have somebody you'd like us to donate it to, please just send me an email and let me know. And yes, this does go by their weight, but again, every dog's a little different with how they react to it. Some react faster, some react slow, some fight it a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're going to see that the doggie is chilled and they're going to love it. And it's all natural. And I think that's really important. So let me just read a couple quick testimonials. This is a really fun one. It says, "Hi, Diana. I want to share how much the Mush puppies have changed my Cocker Spaniels, Charlie and Lucy. They both love them so much and get so excited when I ask them if they want their Mush puppy. Charlie is 6 and Lucy is 7 months old. Before purchasing the Mush puppies, Charlie had a knot tumor on his chest. I was introduced to the Mush puppies and I knew it would help him. After hearing these wonderful stories, I purchased them. I'm so happy to share that Charlie is so much more playful and happy, but more importantly, his tumor is almost gone. I'm so hopeful that soon it will be gone away. And I'm so glad that I was made aware of these wonderful products. Oh, and I am now taking the mushroom too, because I feel that what it did for Charlie, it could do the same thing for me. I loved getting these testimonials. This is a really, really good one. This is a little bit convoluted, so bear with me. He said, I met a woman named Olympia whose sister was in really bad shape. She couldn't even walk. And in her exact words, she was basically dead. She had a very, very serious form of cancer. I'm happy to tell you that my last communication with her, she was up and jogging. This all started in January. And she's been on the mushrooms now for 3 months. And their last testing a week ago shows that all of her growths and tumors have virtually disappeared, with the exception of one tiny spot. I'm so excited because I basically feel that she is cancer clear from this because of these mushrooms. It's the only thing that she was doing. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see where we go from here with her. Again, those testimonials. And then one more here. This is from Elizabeth. My husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2022. He's been on a natural protocol, even though they wanted to do radiation. We heard your podcast and we were so excited with the possibilities. He weighs 180 pounds, and unfortunately his cancer had started to come back. We started him on Inforce 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening. He recently went to the Mayo Clinic for a second opinion and more testing. His cancer is now less than it was before he started the mushroom. So with prayers, thankfulness, and giving God the glory, we think he is with the right people and with the right product. Thank you so much again, Mushroom Ladies. My story, I share my story because I really think it's important. You never know who's listening. You never know who's going to hear what you've gone through and be able to relate, and then we can help. I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and very similar to what Linda said, she had a situation that needed to be addressed, and so she figured out a way to address it. I had this product, the Inforce, in my hands. I had known about the product. I was helping animals. I was, dabbling in it because I was retired and I just wanted to help animals. I really wasn't paying much attention to the human side of it. I was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2020, and there was nothing available for me. I had to wait 30 days for a board to decide whether I was worthy of being operated on. It was during a really, really crazy time. I started taking 10 a day. So normal dosage of this product is 1 per 50 pounds of body weight. I'm 150 pounds, 3 a day. I was dealing with something catastrophic. So I tripled up because it's just a mushroom. It is just a whole food. It has no medical interactions. It has 400 medical studies on its effectiveness. In Japan, it's actually classified as protocol for cancer. I have to be careful. I choose my words carefully. It's also classified as a medication in Japan, but not so much here. Why? Well, they can't synthesize it. They can't patent it. So Big Pharma is never going to approve it. And we just know that. 30 days later, when I went in for my pre-op work, I had been approved for surgery. I got a call within 8 hours that the hospital wanted to talk to me immediately via video chat. And there was my oncologist with a big smile on his face saying, "What are you doing?" And I just thought that was the most bizarre question. What are you doing? I'm packing a suitcase to go to the hospital. I'm scared to death. I'm hoping this tumor doesn't rupture before I get to the hospital. He said, "Diana, you're in remission." And I'll never forget, those words were almost as powerful as "you have cancer." And I knew it was good, but I really didn't know what it meant. And what it meant was every cancer has a marker that your doctors measure you by. And that's critical, that you know what your marker is, or you know what size, whatever it is you're dealing with is. And for me, I was healthy, would have been 2.5. I was off the charts. That day, I was 0.5. And I've been that way for 5 years and 4 months. I did do chemotherapy because I had a very aggressive cancer. But what I learned from the studies of Sloan Kettering and MD Anderson and Harvard was that this mushroom, the Corylus versicolor mushroom, actually complements chemotherapy. So while I was having every single cell in my body destroyed by chemotherapy, the Inforce product was helping support my immune system so that it could rebuild faster, replenish faster, just keeping up with it, basically. So I never was depleted. At the end of the year, my Bone-Dex scans actually had improved. Go figure. Cancer destroys Bone-Dex. Cancer treatments destroy your bone density. Mine was better than it was when I went into it. And so for me, this whole journey has been about helping people through the most catastrophic of things to the most simplest of things, rheumatoid arthritis, allergies, things that are really giving people a tough time. I am reading this one thing in chat that's making me laugh. It says, I know my dolly is jumping up on the furniture again and again. Last night, she jumped on the back of the couch. She never has done that before. She's almost 10. She's been on Mush Puppies for 4 months now. Yay! Kim, I would love for you to tell your story, because your story is pretty powerful, and then we'll take some questions and give it back to the sheepdogs.
Okay. I'm sure most have heard it already, but there's a tumor in here. I don't claim it, so that's why I say it's in there. I don't have it. It's there. I had, after it was diagnosed with an MRI, I had 3 more MRIs after that showed growth each and every time. In January of 24, I started on the Enforce. I am taking 8 capsules a day. And my next MRI was scheduled for 2.5 months after that. So in March, I had the next one and no growth. I was like, oh my God, wow. And then another 6 months later, I had another MRI and no growth again. I recently had one, maybe, I guess, 2 months ago. No growth. Hallelujah. I asked the doctor, the surgeon that I was seeing, I asked him if, do these ever shrink and go away? He says, no, never. I said, do they stop growing all by themselves? He says, well, not really. So he said, keep doing what you're doing. I have no problem with it at all. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, and Kim, your story is great because, I know that I love what you said. You don't own it. And I think that's a really important thing, that you don't own it, because you're fighting it every step of the way and you're keeping a good attitude. But I'm loving your story, because to see it not progressing. We have a gentleman right now in Reno, Nevada, who has Parkinson's. And the American Medical Association actually linked the brain to the immune system in 2024. That was a huge deal. Up until then, they felt that the immune system had nothing to do with the brain. This was revolutionary in the world of medicine. And so it opened doors for people with Parkinson's, epilepsy, seizures, autism. And we are getting some amazing testimonials, and we're going to talk about a contest we're going to have here in a few minutes. But testimonial from this gentleman who has Parkinson's. He also has cognitive issues that the family say are pretty bad. When you have cognitive issues, normally you don't know, but your family knows. So we started him on a pretty high regimen of Enforce. I believe he's taking 10 a day. And then we also added 4 a day of the lion's mane, which is good for cognitive issues. After a few months, he went in for testing. And this is what I love, irrefutable numbers. I love that we have numbers that we can look at. His Parkinson's hasn't progressed. And 7 years, it was progressing every time he went to the doctor. It hasn't progressed. We're like 2.5, 3 years into it now, so it hasn't progressed. And more importantly, his family says that his cognitive issues are improving. They're not noticing him asking as many questions as he was asking before, over and over again. We have an autistic child that we've seen some amazing progress in this baby. He quit talking at 2 shortly after he had been to a medical appointment. Yep. And he quit talking, and I hadn't talked for over a year. And we started him on the Enforce. His grandmother actually started him on. I've had 2 grandma stories. I love the grandmas. They're not messing around. And the little boy has started to talk about 4 weeks into it now, and he's yabbering. And this is huge. These kind of things are amazing. I'm looking at this one where she says, my 5-year-old granddaughter has a tumor on her optic nerve, been on chemo for 6 months, not getting bigger, but not going away. She can't swallow pills. Any ideas? I have her on the gummies for kids. Yay. Yay. I love the gummies. Now, I got to tell you, when you're dealing with something that serious, double up, triple up, and that can get a little pricey. Our products are very affordable. You know, like our dog products, most of our dog products are Super Sauce, our Mush Ponies, $10, $15 a month. This can get a little costly. So what you can do is you can open the Inforce and put it in her little hot milk smoothie or whatever you are giving her. We had a grandma, applesauce. Thank you, Codes 1130. We had another grandma who took the bull by the horns. I love these grandparents. She said to me, my fear was my daughter was going to be really mad, but I wanted to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. She had a little boy, 3 years old, crusty little nose. Every morning he had this horrific sinus infection. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. They had gone to every ear, nose, and throat doctor they could go to. And the next step was putting him on steroids at 3. We're going to put a little baby on steroids. The grandmother was having none of it. She opened a capsule and put it in his little warm milk smoothie that he gets every night before he goes to bed. The next morning, he woke up clear. The next morning, normally when he woke up, there would be this whole warm cloth peel off all the crud around his little nose, and it was horrible. He woke up clear. He has not had an incident for like 2 years now. He's 5. Think about that. A natural, God-given product, something that grows abundantly on this planet. And this little boy is not on a synthetic steroid that's going to change everything about him for the rest of his life. And the one woman said applesauce can hide the taste. Yeah, it does have, I think it has a pleasant taste, but you know, for a little kid, sometimes they're picky, but I love that you have her on the gummies. Please send me some testimonials on this little baby, 5 years old with a tumor on the optic nerve. Let me tell you, look, listen, this is what Kim has. Listen to what Kim's saying. Also, we have another woman who had some optic issues, ocular issues also. And it was kind of funny. She was taking 10 a day. And after 3 months, she called us and said, you know, they're not working. We have a money back guarantee. If you don't like our product, we'll give you your money back. And she said, it's not that I want my money back. It's not working. Because I said, well, what's going on? And she said, well, my vision's getting worse and I'm going to the doctor next week. Well, she called me after she got back to the doctor. She goes, you're not going to believe this. But he said my prescription was too strong. That's why I couldn't see. And we have to redo my prescription and make it less. And yes, so they're working. So then 6 months later, the same thing happened. She had to change her prescription again. She's now no longer wearing glasses and she has an astigmatism. Yeah, this is really fun. Her name is Beth. And I'm so excited about that. So you guys, you know, it is our duty as stewards on this planet to take care of our animals and take care of our people. And if we can find ways to do it naturally, if we can find ways to do it in conjunction with things that aren't pharmaceutical, we need to do that. Do we need an antibiotic every now and then? Of course, that could be necessary. I need a doctor if I break my arm. But, you know, a lot of these doctors and veterinarians, you know, veterinarians make 34% of their income from pharmaceuticals. It makes me so sad. We had a woman that I've been working with now a little over a year and a half. Her German Shepherd was on 10 medications, including Prozac. 10. And $450 a month. There's a tragic story about that. We got this pup off every medication with the help of a holistic vet. I mean, we're not veterinarians. We're not medical professionals. We just have a lot of experience with what we're doing. We put him on Chill Doggies. We put him on a little bit of on the Mush Puppies. We put him on mineral therapy because he was lacking a lot of minerals with our Bucky Bites. And we kept him on 2 of his medications. The bill went down to $125 a month. Then I found out she was living on $600 a month Social Security. $450 of that had been going for her pup. We all love our animals. We'll do anything for them. We all know that. And I see it all the time. They'll take their dog to the vet before they'll go to the doctor. if any of you have any issues with your pets or your people, and you want to just reach out to me, please email me at thetruthseekers88pets@gmail.com. Kim and I are diligent, and Heather's helping too, getting back with people and trying to do anything we can to help you and help guide you to the right mushroom. We do have different complementary mushrooms. We have shiitake, maitake, we have lion's mane, and then of course, reishi. We would love to help you. I just want you all to remember Mike in your prayers. Remember Mike when you're shopping right now. If you are shopping and you can go to one of the sites that help benefit this platform, please do so. I'm making a shameless plug because we need to help him through what he's going through. Somebody asked in the feed if Mike was taking our mushroom. We actually had started Mike on the mushrooms a few months ago. I think it might have been a little bit past where it needed to be, but I'm going to be chatting with Mike later this week that if we can get him back on, pending what his doctors say, I would like to definitely, I will donate those to him because I want to help. And if nothing else, get him on the basic coils for Sequoia to keep that immune system strong so he can go through anything that he's going to be going through. So with that, I want everybody to have a great 4th of July. Enjoy everything out there. Keep your fur babies safe. Kim, as always, thank you. Linda, it was a pleasure to meet you. And Sheepdog, we're turning it back over to you.
I have one thing first.
Yes.
To the I think it was a grandmother that has a grandchild with that tumor pressing on the optic nerve. That's what mine is also doing. It's pressing on my optic nerve. So hence these. So give it a try.
Yeah, well, she said she's already given the gummies, but I think what she needs to do is triple up on the dose.
Yeah.
And triple up on the dose, giving tripling up on the gummies could get a little costly.
Yeah,
even though the
I
kiddos
agree.
love them. And the chocolate chip cookies are great too because the kiddos love those. But I would definitely move into the Inforce,
Yes.
add that into applesauce or into something. Also, remember, cut out sugar. If you can
Yes.
cut out sugar. That's
Yes.
really critical. Gosh, thank you all. And remember my story about Kristen. Be diligent, share that story with people. It's happening all over the country. As Sheepdog was talking last night about the human trafficking, some of their supply has been cut off, so they're going for the normies. And we just have to all be diligent. Sheepdog, we're going to give it back over to you.
Keep your immune system up.
And to piggyback off of that, I just want to say we're going into the 4th of July. Need to be more vigilant. Try not to, let the women go out alone. Try to have a male figure in place or 2, double up. But be made aware that just because there's a combat on human trafficking, that doesn't mean that's it. It's over. It means it's still in the process. There still is a danger out there for people, and people need to be made aware and educated. And I'm just glad that, she was able to listen to her instincts and her gut and that voice. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. And she got to where she needed to go. And we're grateful for that. But
We Sheepdog, as women, we tend to want to just handle everything ourselves. And if something like that happens and we start to not feel good, we tend to isolate ourselves. It's what we do. Going to the car, going to the restroom. It's just a natural thing that we do. And we just have to be more aware that when something like that happens, go to where the people are, go to the crowd and ask for help and tell people you're alone so that nobody can wander off with you.
yeah.
Definitely.
So we just thank, God for his protection. And that we're able to use this as a learning tool instead of something else much worse. But we're grateful for that. Look forward to seeing her again. Let her know that we send our love, and we thank you for allowing you to share the story.
Yeah.
Instead of, because that can be hard, especially with something that traumatic. It's kind of, personal. But that's it. I thank you, ladies, for coming on tonight. We're going to cut it short here, but we're going to return back tomorrow where we left off from yesterday. So we're going to try to have Mike come back on. If he doesn't have the energy, that's fine. We're going to keep it moving. But I thank everybody for your support. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for you guys, your presentations. Hope everybody has an amazing Independence Day this time of year, and just try to stay positive and at peace, even though the world seems chaotic. Well, when you turn the TV on, it's all chaotic. When you turn it off, it's really beautiful. It's so, but thank you. God bless. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Better and better every day, Mike.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for the prayers for Mike as well.
When the road feels heavy and breath moves slow, know we're walking with you everywhere you go. Your name's in every whisper, in every healing prayer. The light around you, brother, is stronger than despair. We send the light around you now, in every breath, in every vow. No fear can stay, no doubt can grow where love and healing overflow. We speak your name in the quiet light, where spirit sings and wrong turns right. In every heartbeat, our love holds fast. You are not alone. This storm will pass. We send the light around you now, in every breath, in every breath, in every vow. No fear can stay, no doubt can grow where love and healing overflow. We see you dancing in morning light, with laughter soft and eyes so bright. Your spirit rising free and wide, like truth and joy, you will not hide. We send the light around you now, in every tomb, in every breath, in every vow. No fear can stay, no doubt can grow where love and healing overflow. Mike, we speak your name with love. We see your heart is whole, your body is resting, renewing. We believe in the healing already unfolding. Every message, every prayer, every quiet moment carries the sound of us holding you. Truth Seekers 88 stands with you in light, in faith, in love. You are surrounded by peace. You are restored by grace. You are never alone. We send the light around you now. We love you.